Welcome to episode 46 or 36? 46 of the Corey Shepherd podcast. Remember, you can catch us on TuneIn Radio, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere podcasts are available. Just check out the streaming places everywhere you stream and you'll find the podcast there. And remember to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, most importantly. So, we had a long week. It's had plenty different directions to go this week. And, let me forgive me up front because I really just come here to get some kicks and make this thing a little easier, I guess, for myself, and hopefully you'll enjoy it too, and for you all. But I listened back to a few episodes, and this is quickly turning into a political podcast. I don't find my way out of that. But again, my goal is to come and look at what these stories are during the course of any given week. And these days, we inside. So there's not much going on outside of the politics. The politics is where all the action is. So I'm not spending a half hour, 45 minutes on politics and COVID. And I know all I don't want to hear, or neither of them two things. The idea is to escape these people and these things. But we're right back to COVID as the first thing we talk about again. I'm sorry, apologies up front. Because as soon as I come here to hit record, I see 134 cases in a day. And I hear the health minister this morning on Blaze and Miles show saying that this is not really the Easter, and it's like you can't isolate what happened during Easter. We just on an uptick. But he's saying that if we relax during these 3 weeks of no restaurants and these cutbacks, the beaches and waterways, assuming rivers close too, he said by the beginning of May we should be seeing a decline, which is, when you think of it, right, when he say that, that's 2 solid weeks of increases, because we're right in the middle of March. Wait, what did you say, April or May? Well, no, we're in the middle of April, sorry. And so there's a solid 2 weeks more of maybe increases, or at least high levels. I don't see why it would decrease. It's probably going to keep rising. Boy. And of course, sympathy to the people who would have passed away from COVID again. We're back at that point. But again, as soon as you see a message like this, you see it on social media going wrong. Some people having a boat ride or some kind of yacht ride, and it's fed extra board. And I don't know, the thing about it is like, you can't get police everywhere all the time to lock down all things. So when you see things like this happening, and of course we only seen a little clip of it, so I don't know if police reach the scene eventually and that little jam get locked down, but we had to be responsible and do the right things. And most of the time I'm talking to myself, because police can't shut down all the yacht rides, but I can tell you, somebody called police for we rides where I live in last week. Because sports was on lockdown before this last stringent lockdown where restaurants and beaches get closed, right? Or only dining, only takeaway. But to be honest with you, we had a little sweat going. Me and my neighbours, my community. I ain't going down by myself. I have a little sweat going when we sweat, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And sweat is run like normal. Everybody having a good time. It's a little up in the fitness, like, you know what I mean? Get a little belly, looking like if it's going somewhere. And I don't think we ever stopped sweating, if I'm being honest, right? Because that lockdown and thing happened. And Tuesday came and I just see the group chat saying sweat, and I was like, yeah, sweat. Completely forgetting. I use forgetting as my defense, so I hope my lawyer comfortable with that. I forget and then paying no attention to this regulation that we're not supposed to have team sports. So we going out and sweat like normal. After the sweat now, which is the favorite part for me, where a little drinks could flow, or, you know what I mean, a little talk. We sit down linemen this must be about 7 o'clock the night. So when is this? This is Tuesday, last week, Thursday night. I see little blue lights flashing in the area, so me paid no mind. I say, well, police must be just making a patrol or passing through, or somebody police partner checking that. Only for police to roll right up on me, drive right up on the field. This time it's only about 5-6 of us who remain after the sweat line, And now I had to give my information to this man. I looking like the most irresponsible citizen ever. And the policeman had to be like, well, you know, I mean, the restrictions there, and all the fellas just taking a sweat. It's not like, well, there's no criminal. And here now, only waiting to hear the part where you give me the ticket, because I don't know next 1,000 to pay for this thing. I don't even know how much is the fine. Because of course, after the sweat, when you come and check, we wear no mask or nothing. So I waiting to hear what's the fine, or if we're getting carried down and them kind of thing. And even if as wrong as I am, I get a kind of pressure. Because I tell myself, listen, all of us in a little place here as a community, if I see people doing something that I don't feel is right, forget COVID for a minute. If I don't feel it's right, I coming out and talk to you and I say, here, don't do this, I don't like how you're doing that. Or if I was, for instance, inside and I see men out there putting themselves at risk with COVID, I would come and say, listen, fellas, we had to wear masks, we had to do better than that. We live in close to one another. We don't want to spread inside here. I don't think I will reach, the first point will be to call police. And the policeman was kind enough to let us know that, here now, we had to come because the people keep calling and they say, if we don't come, they're going to call Gary. So I started trying to figure out, where's my neighbor's end game? They don't know my, I don't know if I live in a life that could be taking police scrutiny on random days like that. Suppose you might come and ask to search home by me and sometimes, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to figure out what is the end game as neighbors so somebody couldn't come and tell me something. But again, do the right thing, right? So salute to whoever called the police on me and salute to the Londonville police who came. I was very cordial and cool and everything. I appreciate that. It could have gone wrong because we were wrong. So they could have given us ticket or I don't know where's the scene with that. But they gave us grace, which I appreciated greatly. So I put my hand up just like the people on the boat, right? To say, Corey, do the right thing. Stay in your house. Wear a mask, social distance, sanitize, and follow the COVID regulations. Please, Corey. Don't go and sweat if the people if they say don't go and sweat, don't go and sweat. And don't go and put yourself in harm's way to me having police rolling up on you on a random day. So again, I looking forward to seeing what the next couple of weeks bring. I'm hoping that those numbers start slowing down. And as the vaccine comes in, and that vaccine is a next story on its own because I being honest, I'm nervous. I don't know if nobody else is frightened. I notice everybody in this country turn COVID expert. You know who's the most experts? The people who feel that anybody questioning anything don't know nothing. It's the greatest set of experts I've ever seen in this country because if you question lockdowns, you're against the government and you don't know nothing. If you question vaccine, you're against. I am not no conspiracy theory man. I stay away from them conspiracy theories. People say it's 5G. People say COVID ain't real. People say it's control. For the people who say in control, what the government trying to control us for? I'm not getting a clear answer on that. Like, what they want to control me for and keep me inside? There's something going on outside of the door we to see or something. Why are you all saying that control is such a big part of it? But anyhow, the vaccine making me nervous. And I do my little bit of jokey research when they initially started, when it coming close to coming in this country. And I was talking about that in terms of efficacy and what the CDC allowing and what they're not allowing. But as with anything new, this thing changing as it go along. I see just last week, Johnson & Johnson was at the top of the list on CDC thing. And then within a day, they say, well, hold up. We're seeing some reactions, some extraordinary blood clotting. And that was the only one that had one dose. Extraordinary blood clotting and things. So we putting up a whole lot. When you do that now and that Johnson & Johnson, that in my bloodstream. Boy, I don't know about all now. All who's so sure about this and all who feel I frightened. And again, as I always say, I tried to reach out to some people this week to see who I could get to come and help explain some more to me about vaccines or doctors who could come and tell me why it is safe and all that. And I understand. So, because some people saying, I guess the general logic is it's better than getting COVID. It's reducing your chance of getting COVID and you're limiting the morbidity is the word? Mortality rate and the rate of hospitalization. But there's the thing, right? If I stop sweating, number one, and I wear my mask and I sanitize and all that, I feel like I have a chance not to get COVID. I didn't get COVID yet, so the discussion might be different for somebody who get it already and for people who see it in the household or God forbid you lose somebody to it. I know your thought process will be different. But I haven't gotten COVID at all. And when I study this, all I study in really, to be honest with you, is my eulogy. I want to write my own eulogy now. This is how frightened I am. Better I write out my eulogy and I write out something where I dead with nothing to do with COVID at all. Like I just dead, right? Or a next eulogy for if I dead from COVID. And again, somebody just to say for me. They could say whatever else they want about them, say that too. But to be honest with you, see the third one I go write, where if I take the vaccine and I end up dead, it ain't gonna be no nice eulogy, because I want everybody who come to my funeral to hit me some hard slap for taking a vaccine to avoid getting something. And I end up getting the thing and dead. I don't like it. I don't like the idea. I don't care how ignorant people find a song in. And I'm not doing the fear mongering thing, because the fear mongering thing real. I'm talking about two cases, very serious cases, right? The first one was where we saw last week a retiree, or they say a pensioner, 60-year-old, suffered with a blood clot and got paralyzed. I can't remember if we spoke about that last week, but unfortunately he passed, so condolences to his family and everybody. That must have been they must be shell-shocked beyond just the grief that they're facing with it. They had to be shell-shocked by this thing. You're going in as one of the first people eligible to get the vaccine and one of the highest risk people in the country outside of healthcare and frontline workers. And you must have felt a sense of relief the day you get a vaccine and your number call and you get to go. And from that, your health situation started to deteriorate until the point where you pass away. Now, the powers that be and the people who know much better than I know have said that it is not easy to directly link the vaccine to the passing of this gentleman. I could appreciate that. But the idea, you see, the blood clotting thing was something that come up a long time ago, almost with every single one of the vaccines you're starting to hear this. And I mean, I hearing this weekend now, Pfizer. I don't know if that one is true or not, but it's saying that internal communication coming from Pfizer about issues. And I understand all that because it's different to any other vaccine and the way it's created and all that. All right, cool. But the reality is this. I feeling like I have a choice as to whether I take this vaccine or not. And I have a little bit of say over how I control my risk where COVID concerned. But to walk into something and give myself that, and I end up, boy, listen, I'm frightened. So that story doesn't get me frightened already, but I was with them and everybody. You know what I mean? It looking like the odd chance, as they told us, as with any other medication. They have side effects, they have negative side effects, all kind of different things could happen with that medication that you might take, and we could appreciate that. Now, fast forward to, of course, condolences to everybody in the PNM and the family, first and foremost, of Franklin Khan, a stalwart in the party and in the government. He's done a lot for Trinidad and Tobago. As the first man to come here and bad talk politicians, but I'll also admit that they have one of the hardest jobs in the country. It is not easy, and for somebody to dedicate so much of their life to politics is an admirable thing to hear. Fools like me come and bad talk here every week or every day, or every carnival season, you're going to Calypso tent, man calling your name, and who are next side of people who are against you saying you're corrupt at every step of the way, even after you pass. It's no easy thing. So salute to him and condolences. I did not know he was that ill and all that. And they saying he had heart problems and so on. Just like this gentleman who they said passed after being paralyzed. Only to find out after I hear that story now, the General Smiley Frankie Khan had taken the vaccine 3 or 4 days before he passed away. Now, no, I haven't seen anybody put a link between these two things, right? And I was comfortable taking it that way. Because the reality is none of us know when our number will call. So your number could have called the day before you get the vaccine. You could have been on your way out before you get the vaccine, and you get the vaccine and you just went along your normal path. All those things is considerations, yes. But when I get up the morning and every single one of the daily newspapers, all of them, they report rest in peace Franklin Khan, and then they report took the vaccine 4 days before. Why? I've been frightened already. I'm frightened with this COVID. I'm frightened with the vaccine. Now, why are you doing that? Why are you making that connection in a way where I had to feel nervous about it and I had to be studying, well, is it the right thing or am I... There's a fair amount of material online that you could find reassuring you and assuring you that the vaccine going to be safe and most people going to be. I even hear the health minister come on I was saying on Blaze and them show this morning, and he said, when you think of it, you have one person who passed away with complications related to the receiving of the vaccine. He says, so when you check it out, there's 1 in 1.4 million. And I think to myself, boy, it's a good thing as a man know little numbers. Me the brightest man is having, but how it could be 1 in 1.4 million? If 1.4 million people can get vaccinated, what is Frankie Kant, what is Terence D. Elsing talking about? That was not deliberate. What's Terence D. Elsing talking about? Today, up to today, the numbers are at about 17,000 people vaccinated so far. When that guy passed away, the numbers were still single-digit thousands. It was maybe 8,000, 9,000. So better you tell me 1 in 9,000, because in all fairness, 1 in 9,000 is also a very, very small chance, which tends to want to say that this thing very, very safe, and especially if you don't have pre-existing conditions or what they call comorbidities and that kind of thing, you should be okay. But oh God, why are you telling me 1.4 million? Like, why they talk to us like they're talking to fools? You're saying that on the radio this morning, like if people, you know what I mean? Everybody's supposed to buy that. Come on, just say what it is. Say that 8,000 get vaccinated so far, and only one in all of them get ICU. So this is what it is. We have AstraZeneca here from South Korea. I also hear him say that the next batch of AstraZeneca that we're supposed to receive, they were manufactured in India, but he said they're interchangeable. So we're going to have a situation where some, or most, people who get a first vaccine, when they have to go back for their second shot, they might be getting a South Korean first shot and then an Indian second shot. And boy, I just hope to God, I pray, I hope these things, we know what we're doing, no boy. I frightened. I'm talking from straight fear. So don't take nothing I say as advice or nothing. You make your own decision as to whether you do it. And I still more on the side of getting the vaccine would be the right thing to do. And I can't wait for all of us to be vaccinated. And at this point in time, I'm probably going to, as they call my number, I'm going to take the vaccine. But I only have frightened. I am being honest, I frightened. I don't know if I'm only not frightened. But I'm a man, I never take no flu shot and none of them kind of thing. I don't like that. I don't like this idea that you will give me. It always feel like you give me a little bit of the virus and then, but I guess doctors know what they're doing. Yes, and I have a lot more trust in a lot more systems, especially when it comes to healthcare. Maybe I'll go by Dr. White. That's my guy, you know. Anything Dr. White tell me I do, you know. Anything he say, I do that. So I'll go in by Dr. White and let him give me some advice as to whether I should how worried should I really be? Better I don't listen to Guardian and Express and Newsday as to how I'll make my decision about when and so on to take the vaccine. And then I study my parents and thing now when them go and boy, I go be frightened. Oh God. I don't know how the people who are real sure about this, salute to all you boy. All you who so sure and all you going gung ho, salute to all you guys, because I don't know where all you getting that confidence from. But when my number call or my mother and them number call, I hope to have that confidence and hope. Boy, listen, you see that 1 in 8,000 thing? The one is the problem. But again, all medication like that. Let me move on. These nerves not helping me in any way. I'll keep you all updated, and when I get a doctor to come on and talk about it, maybe I'll feel much better. Maybe I'll carry my mic and think by Dr. White, see what he will say about it. But I will update again until next week. We will come back to that vaccine thing. By next week, if we had 17,000, you listen to this by Tuesday. There's 17,000. We're probably done with all the vaccines, the first shots by the time I come back on. So let's see what next week brings. Now, as we bring up Frankie Khan, again, rest in peace to him and condolences to his family and all his colleagues and to all of us as a nation. That is really one to mourn. It was nice to see the opposition response to it. I have so little faith sometimes in the battle between two political parties that my expectations is be low, if I'm being honest. But I saw Kamala Persad-Bissessar release a statement, and it was heartwarming. She spoke about Franklin Khan in glowing terms and how much he has contributed, and almost just stopping short of saying his influence on her as a politician. I would like to see a little more of that, to be honest. And Wade Mark spoke about him as a colleague. Both of them put out statements that was really sounding like is a colleague of theirs who passed away. And it is, because whether you in government or opposition, you're part of the government and you're working together every day. So it was nice to see them come out and say that. But it could never really go smooth, right? It always had to have one. So I read it, I'm selling this wholesaler, and I ain't taking away nothing, and I ain't adding nothing. Being told that Franklin Khan has gone to join Malcolm Jones and Patrick Manning in hell. In a nation where white-collar criminals get to prosper without fear or justice, all the people get at the end is a sigh of relief when karma plucks them from this world. The Manning Energy Club oversaw a looting unheralded in this nation's history and destroyed what little patrimony the people had left after Eric Williams went through the first oil boom money like a dose of salt. Franklin Khan's skill set was built around his trademark smirk while openly lying to the public. May he rot in hell, and may the screams of the destitute and tears of the broken haunt him for all eternity. And may the choir say, who say amen? The choir or the congregation? Listen, it's so funny that this should happen this week. You can't plan all these things, because I was just talking about this last week when I was comparing me talking about Prince Philip and my ancestors to Ian Allen wishing a very slow recovery and just stopping short of wishing Roller's dead. I mean, and he apologized, of course. So we accept the apology. If it's for me to accept, we accept that. So only to come this week and see somebody pass away, a member of the parliament who contributes so much to this country. So much he contributed over the time. You want to say that they loot and they pillage and they plunder and thing? I could join you with that. I don't see no politician as any different. But I see your statement as real disingenuous. Although I'm a big fan of keep the same energy. If you ain't like a man when he living, you ain't bound to like him when he's dead. You could also say nothing and don't come out and make a statement at all. But if you had to say something and you have a little spice for the man, who is me to tell you no if I find Prince Philip on the way out? And the thing about Prince Philip, it's only I talk about my ancestors meeting Prince Philip. I feel real sorry when I see the Queen sit down where she said, boy, that thing looks so sad. It ain't easy to lose somebody when you spend your whole life, if you're 185 years old. You spend 185 years old with somebody and you come and lose that person, boy. I want to go to that funeral and I want to head in. Somebody had to let me head out to that person. Where I going? Who I going to talk to now? You know how, whether you have a good relationship, a toxic relationship, it's the same thing like I say about Kamala and Frankie Khan and them. Whether you use enemies or not, when somebody pass away, that relationship rider. So imagine you and somebody married for 185 years old. And then you had to go and sit down, and this COVID thing, so sad with this COVID funeral already. Now this woman had to sit down by herself. That is, whoever's the photographer take that as a boss. Because sure she wasn't in the church or wherever they take that shot by itself. Just check it out. Queen Elizabeth at Prince Philip funeral. It's one of the saddest things you ever see. But again, ancestors waiting. So I'm a big proponent. I keep the same energy. You don't have to change your vibes and change your tone for when a man gone. But the thing about this is I can't help but think that, number one, Frankie Khan, if only by being in power, contributes so much more to this country than Philip Alexander would have ever contributed, and probably will ever contribute because he's not making it in power. But also, where it is you're going when you're talking about who loot and who pillage and who plunder, when, in my opinion, if you want to go there, it's because you ain't getting a chance to pillage and plunder. You want to do the same thing. You're really against these people because they in charge of a treasury, as far as I'm concerned, that you would like to be in charge of. Because I struggle to understand from Philip Alexander. What I like about him, I'll tell you the upside of him before I get into the rest of the 95% about him. The upside is that he's real point out problems. So I see him do a video at time during COVID, right? And the man was right. The man show you Freddy's selling food and selling roti and thing during the time when restaurants was locked down. And he show you Creole Kitchen, which is right next to Freddy's, where man would go for roti and Creole food. Them had to stay closed because them name is restaurants. And people going by Freddy's and buy food. That is an important thing to point out because at the end of the day, that wasn't right. That wasn't fair. When you look at it overall, that ain't fair to nobody. That ain't fair to no business owner. And the haphazard way that they decided on where could open, where could close, where had to close down. And I find it's been unfair from the start. You know what I mean? They're giving the police a whole lot of extra work to do, like come in here to stop me from sweating and so on. And nobody, it's so arbitrary. I remember another video, that wasn't Philip Alexander, but there was another video going around where a man was, police forcing a fella to close down a rum shop while the bar across the road was open. Or the grocery across the road was selling alcohol, he was saying. And he had to close his rum shop. When I say rum shop, I mean like a liquor mart is what I'm trying to say. A liquor mart is no, as far as I concern, a liquor mart, I know congregation. How much congregation is doing a liquor mart? Well, how they can do like by the bank and let people line up outside and come in 5 at a time and buy the liquor and all that. I granted that the government figuring this out as they go along, but Philip Alexander good at that, pointing out where the issues are. He should continue doing that. Remember, he's had these watchdog programs and
it built for people like him who talk loud and talk aggressive. No matter what the issue is, Philip ready to come and talk aggressive and talk hard to everybody. But I mean, when I saw that post on his Facebook page, his own fans and supporters, people, you're seeing people responding to it saying, oh God, Philip, we support you and thing, but that was kind of low. The man pass away. Why you had to say that? And your own supporters trying to show you, well, hey, that really, really unnecessary. I'm not saying your energy had to change at all, but the first post I saw after Frankie Khan passed was his own, which means when you see that, you jump to go online quick and try and say as fast as possible what you had to say because you know what the reaction would have been. And you would have been, I don't want to say it like stealing the headlines, but you would have been the first, you would have been the one everybody talking about, which is exactly what happened over the last week, and everybody was discussing his take on it and the way he put it, and it's so sad. It's such a, you're accusing people like Malcolm, what do you mean name? Malcolm Jones? Malcolm Jamal Warner? Who's the fellow name from UL? You're accusing them of being power grabbers and money, but that post is a real power grab. That post is a real attention-seeking power grab. So, I mean, I'm glad everybody dealt with him to suit. The people in the opposition, nobody seemed to join him in that road. When I say the opposition, let me just say UNC as another party who are against the PNM. None of them seemed to join him. Everybody gave or paid what seemed to be genuine respect to Frankie Khan. As a matter of fact, let me read a couple of these statements, because all this bad talking these people every chance I get. So any politicians do something that I find good, I'm going to start to shed light on that too. You know what I mean? Fear is fear, right? So from Wade Mark, one of my favorite people, right? One day I go tell my Wade Mark stories now, some stories about Wade Mark. But Wade Mark had to say, as a former elected MP, and more so as a senator, we have been engaged over the past few years in many healthy exchanges of important information pertinent to the management and business of the Senate. These exchanges contributed in assisting and propelling the Senate forward in organization of its affairs during his stewardship. Former Senator Khan was a quiet and unassuming individual who firmly promoted and championed the PNM government's agenda even in the face of stiff opposition from the United National Congress. In sanctifying his memory, we will always value his cordial approach to matters raised and discussed, his frankness of thoughts and views, and his trademark smile, at times infectious sense of humor. Franklin Khan remained loyal and dedicated to his political views and party right to the end. In celebrating his short yet colorful life on earth, we would like to extend our collective condolences to his family. So, I wonder if Wade Mark have a writer that he might want to lend to Philip Alexander. And you know, the thing about it is I don't know if it's an age gap thing, or a generational thing, where Philip Alexander appeals to youths in a different way, more than plenty of these politicians who we have now. Like a lot of the people who are here supporting him and saying that he's doing good and they like what he's saying and stuff, a lot of them are younger people, so we must pay attention to that too, because that is a big part of the voting population if younger people go out and vote. But reading from a report by CNC3, assuming as Guardian, I guess. Opposition leader Kamala Prasad Bissesso today said that she was saddened to learn of the passing of Minister of Energy and Energy Affairs Franklin Khan. Khan dedicated much of his life in service to this country, and his contributions over a period of almost 2 decades as a member of parliament, a minister of government in varying capacities in 2 PNM administrations, and as a senator are laudable. I offer sincere condolences to the family, colleagues, and friends of Mr. Franklin Khan. I pray that they can find peace and comfort during this time. May he rest in peace. Simple. It's classy and it's simple. You with a statement like that, your base, what they will come under it and say, when you read the comments under that article from CNC3 or where she posted it on the UNC page, it kill off a lot of vitriol, if they had any, where people like to go and say all kind of out of timing thing on below our Facebook post. But it kill off that, and most of her supporters went on and say, hey, condolences. It will get the respect of people who on the fence like myself, who don't like neither side or who like either side and trying to make a decision. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so simple. But again, the generational thing, Philip Alexander, in his appeal to youths and to his audience, rather than take your time and write out a statement, you run to Facebook to type out something quick. Or you run to a live to put on a camera to say what you have to say, and you're shooting from the hip and responding. You ain't rehearse it, you ain't get a chance to read it over and say, this song ain't good, this song ain't bad. You ain't get a second person to read and say, well, all right, I'll check this for me now. With Facebook, it's no sort of proofreading. No, you type out what you type and you hit post, and then it's available for the whole world. It's just to show you the different approach. I don't know if it's, again, a generational thing or what. But you see, it has certain occasions where, pal, better you write out what you have to say. I learned that the hard way many times in life. It has sometimes I like to talk. I mean, a man like me, I like to talk. I like to talk from the hip too. But it has certain topics when I'm talking about it. Let me walk with at least my little bullet points now, so I know exactly what I want to say, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. And I have the benefit in our podcast of saying something and then hearing how it's sung and then editing that, or giving somebody to listen to it and say, hey, help me out there. See what I need to cut. But when you do that on Facebook and thing, it's no turning back. You can't delete no post, Philip. Doesn't matter. Somebody screenshotting that, wrote about it, and then putting up that one. People just waiting to see you do that because they're trying to show people who you are, who you really are. And I mean, you show it for yourself. So stay classy, Philip. Get some class up in you now, and try and see how we could clean up we act as a people. You know what I mean? And if you ain't like the man, you ain't like the man. You could just chill and stay quiet about that. So I guess changes had to be made. And I don't know if you call it a reshuffle. Remember, it's called shuffling of the cabinet, like if it's not people. But an announcement made again about changes. So the Ministry of Energy will now be assigned to King Stuart Young, who can't do no wrong, you know what I mean? I guess he's a hard-working dude and everything, you know what I mean? Because nobody ain't having nobody as their right-hand man if the man ain't coming through. So Stuart Young is now Minister of Energy. Foster Cummins is now the Minister of Youth Development and National Service. And very, very interestingly, Mr. Fitzgerald, I don't see the piper in him, Hinds, has been assigned the Ministry of National Security. Who better to be Minister of National Security than a piper watcher? If he could, listen, drugs going to be off the thing, you know. So anybody, if you know you like your little drugs, whether it be marijuana, that going and get rolled back. So smoke as much as you want, as fast as you can, because that going and go. Anybody who have problems with piper and spranger and thing in the area, you just point them out. It's Durate style. Them, they put Philip, I'm saying Philip now, they put Fitzy as the man who in charge of Ministry of National Security. Boy, listen, this is going to be sweet. Of course, the people on the internet in this country don't waste no time whatsoever to dive to the memes. I literally, this happened maybe 20 minutes before I started recording, and I don't see everybody going back to when they kick water. Man started to say, boy, Sealot's getting locked down one time. You better bet. You think we have a next zest? Listen, boy, if you feel lockdowns was pressure before, like your boy Stuart when he was there, he was a lockdown man. Eh? I still waiting to hear how heavy-handed they're talking now that the boss get COVID himself. I'm starting to see slightly where the tone changing as to what we need to do and so on, and not just one fool and all this kind of stupid talk. But they put Fitzy in charge there. It is going to get dark in certain areas. If you're from them areas, you might want to get low. Do not have no more zest. Take my stupid advice because, and you know, the thing is, he want to prove himself too, you know. He get a ministry like that and he hold on to that again. He want to prove himself. He not letting go with that ministry ever again. I want you to take all the memes I see. One thing only you realize is that this means that you are going to see and hear from Fitzgerald Hinds every day. How much of that you could tolerate, boy? How much you could tolerate hearing Fitzgerald tone every day in them press conferences and him having to answer the media questions, trying to fit as much big words into small sentences as he could. Well, yeah, we back to that because keep in mind that our Minister of National Security is a key man in the daily press conferences where COVID concerns. So whenever they lock down again, which they will do, it's coming. 134 cases on Monday, it's coming. But he going to be in the midst of that. And I can't wait to see the exchanges between Gary Griffith and Fitzgerald's the piper in him Hinds. It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. If it's one thing we sure we're going to get out of it, as always, is some good entertainment, because this is going to be spectacular. And you know, the doc have a way. He's dressed down men, and in fairness to the Elsing and Stuart Young, them men is take the dress down and take the gangster in like normal. Like, there's just roll off of the Elsing back. You can see, he's look at it like if, you know, always look sometimes like you have a big son. But your big son talking to you all how, but you just get too old and you don't even bother with that. So when I remember in the early Rowley always used to buff up the Elsing. Let the doctor answer the question. You are not a doctor. You remember them days? But the Elsing don't ever seem fazed by that at all. You see, right? If nothing else, say what you will about the misinformation, lack of transparency, lack of a plan and thing. That man, the Elsing, is show up there every day and talk about that to nobody. That is for more than a year. That man very present in that press conference. And whether they agree with his decisions or not, he in the midst. I like that. But, and Stuart Young is taking both too. Like, it had a point in time where, for some reason, Young was in the audience of socially distanced media people. And I don't know if he was checking the phone or if he going through something, probably on Instagram, watching Vanita and them climb up on man car. But the man scrolling through thing like normal, and then Rolly get the man the evil eye, like how your father used to watch you back in the day, like, grrr. And that man busy, that man just drop his phone on the ground. Listen, that man just like your phone, he even phone, folio, everything went down on the ground. So I want to see how, I'm really interested in seeing how Fitzgerald going to digest both, because real both going to come. Real both going to come. I don't find Fitzgerald Hinds to ever really song like a man who, he's a talker. But I don't know if he's be on top of the things he's doing and thing. I get him the benefit of the doubt. But when you had to show up every day with updates and at least song to the public, like you on top of all these things, and the media is waiting, rushed, and they're waiting to ask Fitzgerald Hinds questions when he show up on the press conference. Mark my words, it's going to be epic. If that man show up there without the kind of answers that the Elsing and Young is have, all what sounds like at a moment's notice, and forget the doctors, forget Paris Ram and the Dr. Hinds, forget them men on top of the thing. But as a politician, you go on that panel there with men who sung and so for the year, let me see what it look like. But we're sure we're going to get entertainment out of it. Yeah, I could guarantee you that. So good luck to them, but outside of the politics now, enough for them. You'll see how they go and we go monitor it. Time to get out of the politics. This is all that wasn't so bad, right, for politics. A little quick half hour. A COVID by politics, we're done. I want to talk about an article I read in the papers this week. And it seems to be a recurring theme because I come across a few versions of this article. And it seems as though the tide is changing in Trinidad and Tobago, slowly but surely. Well, let me not say the tide changing. It seems as if people trying their best to change the tide. But like they're getting backwash. So I read an article from Wednesday the 14th of April from Rachel Espine. This is Scotiabank, about Scotiabank. This is in the Newsday. It says Scotiabank has expanded its healthcare benefits to include the same-sex partners of its employees. Stephen Bagnerol, I hope I have that right. I'm pretty sure I don't. Managing Director of Scotiabank TT on Wednesday said the bank's most recent step to align its benefits for all employees shows respect for everyone's diversity. Being the best bank means taking bold action. We value and respect all our employees for their character, passion, and integrity, and encourage everyone to be their authentic selves. When we engage in bias-free practices, we are able to help unlock employees' full potential. They constantly rise to the challenges faced, continue to deliver excellence to our customers, and contribute to the bank's overall success. So, salute to Scotiabank. What they're basically saying there, my poor reading, my standard one reading, is that now medical plans. So the bank will offer a medical plan through some insurance company, or probably with them, they have their own. If they usually have Scotia Life and so on, they might have Scotia health plans for the employees. And I guess up to this point, if you're in a same-sex, what's it call it, boy? Let me see what's the word he uses. Same-sex partners. You could add them to your plan now. Some of the healthcare plans for our company or companies where I worked before, you had to be married to add somebody, or you could add your children, right? You can't even add your parents because I guess in their mind, the insurance company is so much at risk if you add your parents as your parents older or whatsoever. But apparently that's not the case in Scotiabank, where no, you could have a same-sex partner. And the reason I'm saying partner is because it's still not illegal in this country to marry somebody from the same sex, is it? I don't think so. I don't think they ever legalized that. So if same-sex marriage is not allowed, and you could just say, well, yeah, where's the scene? There's my man coming on my plan. I find it's a progressive step forward, you know what I mean? If it shouldn't really matter who you're adding to the plan. But does it mean in Scotia, maybe somebody who works in Scotia could help me with this, along with trying to erase some zeros from a mortgage? You could just add like a girl, if I have a girlfriend, right? You could just say like, this is my girlfriend, and add her to your health plan now, or you have to be married. Because I don't know if I remember this right, but to me, when I had to add Stacey to my medical plan, for instance, we wasn't married yet, and I had to go and swear to the commissioner affidavit that we in a common law relationship for X amount of time and that she living with me. If I didn't do that, I couldn't add her to the plan. So it had to be that, oh, well, maybe that's what you could, oh boy, now I'm confused. Because maybe if you have a man or a woman, if you're a woman, or a same-sex partner, I should stop saying have a man. If you have a same-sex partner, can you go illegally in this country and go and swear to the affidavit, officer the affidavit, that this is in fact my guy? I don't know how it works. Or do you just have to show up in Scotia and just say, this is my girl, my guy or my girl or my same-sex partner? Good. Because going back to what is called that different sex partner is deep water, you know. I want to get no problems on it. If you have I was going to say traditional relationship, but I don't want to offend nobody in these streets. So if you have a boy and you have a girlfriend, can I just go and say, this is my girl and I put it on? And what about if you have multiple girlfriends? Because, you know, sometimes you live life in a kind of loose way and so on. I wonder if you have multiple women, you could just go and add all of them to your help. It kind of makes sense. Because if you have multiple women and something spreading in the team, you're going to have it. So I was just kind of wondering that out loud. But overall, I think it's a progressive move by Scotia. Sorry, but I know I saw another article related to this at the societal level. But the honesty is that I can't find the damn article. So it seems as though we moving, at least slowly, into a world where not just respecting the wishes or giving equal rights to people who might be same-sex or whatever they choose to do, but into a world where people care less. No, it doesn't matter to me. Whoever you with, you know what I mean? I used to say back in the day, you like, man, more girl for me, but I still end up with one woman. The thing never worked. But please, if you want to look into this article, right, go to the Newsday and check out the article. It's from April 14. The headline is Scotiabank expands health benefits to same-sex partners of employees. And you want to edify yourself. I don't have time to go through the whole article. But if you like this move and you want to edify yourself, go and read the article. But just don't read the comments on social media. Because Trinidad is a one step backward, 10 step. Well, it says 1 step forward, 10 steps backward, capital the world. I don't know, boy. People don't hold back what they had to say on social media, you know. People was real mad. This and the other article. I'm so sorry I can't remember what the hell the other article was. But boy, people went off on social media. People like they can't take it. People was, boy, listen, is the most amount of hell and condemnation. Every one of the replies to this post look like Philip Alexander condolences to Franklin Khan. Oh my God, people went off. But again, I think it's a progressive move. I welcome more of that, especially in companies that, because the thing about it is not so much supporting what it is. I don't think I had to support nobody when it comes to who you like and what you like to do and thing. Me, I had to support that, but people should have equal rights, man. I like a world where everything fair for everybody and thing, and you can't just decide that because your point of view is that people should do this or shouldn't do that. The people can't have a health plan. I mean, that's like basic human, like, I mean, come on. So at least if these little things if this is heading where it's heading, is a good direction for the society to kind of come off for certain things and forget that, you know? So I just wanted to highlight that, right? Now, if we're talking equal right, maybe, you see, I come here and talk about things. I am hypocritical. Somebody tell me now when I first started this podcast, I talk to both sides of the mouth. And you know the person damn right. I talk about certain things and I try to be as honest as I could be when I crack this mic. So I like the idea and I like, you know what I mean, where people have equal rights. So, you know what I mean? But to be honest with you, in my house, I don't really have no equal rights home by me, you know. So you had to be a real fraud to come and crack a mic and talk about equal rights when you have no equal rights. Because the other morning, I trying to sleep late. Rough day, rough night, whatever it is, I trying to sleep in. My son come and call me. Excited. Go and bring my Quattro. Now, if you know me good enough, if you listen to enough episodes of this, any little opportunity I get to pull out a Quattro, and that anytime I could come and play something for people, I happy. So I say, well, all right, this man asking for Quattro. Now, if you know Zachary, he hate this. He not on me with this Quattro thing, you know. The mutes on them, he ain't trying to hear me when I singing a bunch of old time Kaiso and thing. He want to hear what he want to hear. So when he tell me go for my Quattro now, I say, well, all right. I started to think one time, I say, well, all right. He must want to hear a song. Every now and again, I let him listen to one of the greats. So I say, you know what I mean? I done put it in my mind already. I go give him one of the classics. Oh God, I don't pick it up already, right? So I'll let it be with me, right? This is what I had in mind that I would have played for him. One of my favorites these days. Go. Mr. Selwyn, sick of Brooklyn, you know it? Decide he want to surprise his wife. Whatever, I'll say the wrong chord I'm playing too. But I tell myself, well, I done had that in the hole there. So I will sing that one for him and see how he like it. You know, he calling me to play Happy Birthday for the dog because apparently it's Axel's birthday. Axel is my little dog. And that's why I get myself tied up and the man calling me to sing Happy Birthday for Axel. I think to myself, but wait till I come to by working hard. I don't deserve this. Why I must get up? No, that's a little tradition we have home here. Whoever birthday it is, we get them a kind of birthday parang and we sing a happy birthday for them and I play Quattro and we sing. Even when it's my own birthday, I go play Quattro and we sing something. But I didn't realize that we had to celebrate the dog. This is a normal thing. Somebody had to help me with this. People celebrate the dog birthday. When I was growing up, it didn't have no dog birthday, you know. So this is why I had to highlight things like what Scotiabank and them doing because we grew up in let me call it a much less enlightened era. Because when we had dog, to tell you how we used to ill-treat dog, I had about 5 or 6 dogs named Max. Whenever they bring home, I don't know when my uncle and them used to get dog. They just come home with a dog and they say, yeah, a dog. We want to name the dog. I say Max. In about 2-3 weeks, Max dead. I just know they just bring a next Max. He just bring a next dog. He say, look a next Max here. It's about 7 of them he bring and all of them name Max. When you're dead, they just replace them. I don't remember personally. Sorry to all the animal lovers and the dog lovers and things, but when I grew up, it just used to have dog, and when the dog dead, it dead. You know what I mean? It wasn't that the dog was never part of the family. Number one, of course, the dog never come in the house. That was not a thing at all. I don't know if I grew up so, but I didn't grow up so. No dog ain't coming in no house. Yeah, stay in the yard. And now Zachary and Stacey have a way they call this dog Axel Shepherd Bab. I don't like it at all. You know. The dog have my whole name, my whole government name. The dogs just have one name. The dog don't have no last name. Back in the day. And I know it might sound cruel now, right? But it's different times. When long time. I remember we used to leave St. James, boy. I have a cousin named Robbie. Robbie was the man in the area who have a little pickup. So you know what? Long them times, everybody have a pickup now. But back then, whoever had the pickup, you're a real transporter work in the community. So Robert was the man to call when your dog's sick. Now again, this is a different time, right? This is in the 80s and the 90s. So when the dog's sick, I never know about carrying no dog by no vet. Dog have 2 states. Alive and dying. It had no sick and no sort of medication and it worm out and pavo shots. I don't know nothing about it. Potong we have. It's potong we get pavo. So when the dog's sick now, he used to call Robert. Because you don't want the dog dead home, eh? You don't want the dog dead home. So you call Robert when he sick. And you know what we used to do, boy? We used to drive down where the beat up when the dump was still by the beat up. I shouldn't laugh at this. You see how you mustn't laugh at certain things? Well, you don't laugh, eh? But we used to drive on the Beaton Boy and drive inside the dump. If you ever went in the dump down there, it's big, it is far you could drive down inside, And the dog knows something wrong, eh? Because all the time the dog sick, he lied down, he barely had energy, but he looking out now because the dog done smell the rat. And when we reach far enough in the Beaton, we used to take the dog out to the back of that tree and give him something to eat on the outside of the tree. This real Saturday, we was this boy, thank God we changed and take it away. And as that dog started to eat, we jump in the van and peel out. And listen, that dog just take all the energy in life and chase. It's one of the saddest things to look back through that van glass. And you see that dog coming pell-mell. And listen, Robert is extra bored. Robbie is kicking out. Because by the time you take 2-3 turns, you done lost that dog, and now, well, all right, you reach, you're gone, bye. You know what I mean? That's your old people home there. That's your retirement plan, right? So it was a brutal time. So only had to forgive me. I know I shouldn't laugh at that, but sorry, the animal lovers. But only had to forgive me for growing up like that. You had to be patient with me, you know what I mean? You had to ease me into certain things. You can't be waking me up after I had experiences like those with 7 different Macs to be singing no quattro, no happy birthday for no dog. But I thought that was the end of it. You guys say, well, all right, the happy birthday thing. So I skip out on that. Only to come outside later on in the morning looking for breakfast. And I'm talking equal rights on podcast about it. I have no breakfast to get. But my son is holding up my dog in front of a plate of pancakes with a sparkler. Boy, listen. Singing happy birthday for the dog, and the dog eating pancake, and I can't get nothing to eat in my own house. But I come in here to about equal rights and these types of things. It's real hypocrisy, But again, I'm trying to be different. I'm trying to be in like the dog living inside, like the dog and me living in the same place. So I just go in with it. If people say that's what it is, if this is what enlightenment is, well, yeah, again, more and more enlightened. So that is what my life is like these days. And I mean, on top of that, if we rant and we write, I'm airing out all my dirty laundry today. And I'm mostly doing this because this episode going to get released on 420. So at that point, nobody will remember that anyway. But I see the other day, let me make sure I have my date something right? Because I'm trying to be better at life as a husband, as a partner, as a father. You know what I mean? In our household, again, enlightenment is what we're going for, right? And because of that, I've been on Amazon as early as now. I am a man accustomed buying Christmas gifts on Christmas Eve, right? And I don't really, that's just how I live. That's the excitement for me. I go and I look for it then. Valentine's Day, I always trying to get my way out of that because I don't find it make a whole lot of sense and thing. But again, I want to be better at it. I don't think my first Valentine's Day as a husband was great. I can't remember what we do. Me and think we do nothing significant, to be honest. And my birthdays be right around Valentine's Day too. So them two things get mishmash. But I'm trying to be better, trying to be more enlightened and celebrate the woman in my life and the woman in my life in particular. I'm trying to be better. So after coming off of Valentine's Day, we are done into, as I turn again, they say Women's Day on the 8th of March. And they catch me fumbling now, my mother and all that to call me and say, but you didn't even call me for Women's Day. And I thinking, but I didn't know that nobody does celebrate no Women's Day. I didn't know it's a post-up thing and the woman in my life and after, the woman that I treasure and my, I didn't know. I just thought it was one of them days like we ignore, like World International Song Day. There's some days just for song, some days for your siblings. I don't study none of them things. There's not that I love my wife or my mother or my siblings, no. But it's just too much a day. And I know how these days go. The days start off where it's just simply recognition. And then it turns into something now where every time the day come around, you have to say happy so-and-so day. But in today's world, you can't just say happy so-and-so without a post now. You have to post the woman and let the woman know. No, let people know because you don't let her know home. That's one of the most awkward things for me. I wake up and I tell you, happy birthday, happy anniversary and thing. But now I had to tell the world that I told you happy. All right, I understand it, you know what I mean? It's like public display of affection is an online thing now. We didn't like PDA when we were small, where they making we walk and hold hands and thing. Remember that, fellas? And we didn't used to like that, kissing in public and thing. But now we doing PDA by posting up and put a whole set of love and I had to keep a nice picture on deck now. A man like me who don't take pictures. Because every time I post, Stacey for is the same picture I using. Well, now I had the wedding, so I'm going back to wedding photos. That is my default. I realize I can't mess with that. So, International Women's Day come, me buy nothing. I didn't even know you were supposed to buy something. And the worst now is when you see all them said the best husband, yes, are talking to all these best, all they posting up thing and all they hot thing and cooking and, you know, annoyed as guy to come back to market against making condensed milk bread now and making everybody else look bad. So now when I come home with my 2 hands swinging, well, COVID is my excuse. COVID, place lockdown, you know what I mean? I couldn't buy nothing. Saying we'll just do something home and I make my same sort of whatever I usually make home, some fry some egg and call that a day. But again, I'm trying to do better, so I am now officially shopping for Mother's Day. Look how far it is. Mother's Day is the second Sunday in May. I actually know when it is in advance. And I'm shopping now so that things could come in on Amazon on time because I am the king of when your birthday reach. I now order the thing. So it's 2 weeks again. Stacey, I don't know how she's tolerate me now. But I'm moving early. Mother's Day, we in a gear. But while I am shopping for Mother's Day, I was shocked when I look online and I saw that the 17th of April is International Husband Day. I didn't know this was a thing. I mean, no, not more this. I never know. But I find the timeline was very quiet on international. Because the first thing I want to check is, well, let me see if people posting their husband and all these things. I ain't seen a single husband post. None. About 5:30, 6 o'clock the evening, me and know if like somebody send a memo and say, oh, it looking bad among we women. And I see 2 people. I don't know how much friends I have on Facebook, but I saw 2 people post things saying International Husband Day to the best husband in the world and put a little picture of the man and all these things. And I said, but look at life, boy. Look at life. People gangster in here. When you forget Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, Wife Day, anniversary, the birthday. I mean, your birthday, I remember. But all the, forget the anniversary too. That's what we celebrated that. But I don't want to say made up days neither. I don't put myself in trouble here already. But the capitalism days now, where you have to buy something or carry them somewhere. It's be a scene when you forget them thing and you don't do that. You know what I mean? But Husband's Day is crickets. So, gentlemen, I want you to expect more of yourselves. Demand more for yourself from today. We can't be doing this bad. This woman didn't tell me this is my first Husband's Day as a husband ever. I ain't even get morning babe happy international. Nothing. Husband Day, nothing. No recognition. Up to the time of recording this, I have not gotten a Husband Day wish or a Husband Day gift or any of them things. So I'm using this to say, I square for the rest of the year. Wherever I forget. Because I'm holding on to this. The April 17th is International Husband Day. And you know, the thing about it is like, the April 17th is one jamet away from April Fool's Day. But anyway, we ain't gonna go there. I'm just saying that the recognition that we deserve as great husbands, going out there doing the best for our wives all the time, represented on all these days, it should be there. And we ain't seeing it. So right now we out and bad for the rest of the year. We not to celebrate nothing till next year, Husband Day, when they make up amends for this. I ain't celebrating that. Sorry. Now talking about celebration. You're probably listening to this episode when it's 420. That's thing to celebrate now. You know what I mean? No, enjoy your 420, because if Fitzy is the Minister of National Security, this could be the last 420 we ever celebrate. But apparently, if you don't know, 420 is internationally recognized as a ganja day. 20th of April every year is a Bob Marley listening, spark up something, get high kind of day. Now, this is the middle of the week, so we ain't going to be encouraging nobody to get high and thing. Maybe you could do a 420 weekend edition. A matter of fact, stay away. If you could stay away and you don't like it, like, I find myself caught back up. I went over the whole Better Call Saul and I'm watching the whole Breaking Bad now. So I don't want to come here encouraging nobody to be using no drugs. Next thing you know, you end up all the way on meth and you're in a mess, right? But should you be a partaker of the herb, the indica and sativa and so on, enjoy your little 420, enjoy your last 420 while it lasts. We're still on a 4-plant situation. I guess they say male plants, I suppose, or whatever. And a good few people had their plants home. You're seeing that more and more. As for some reason, people still getting arrested, I guess, for large quantities of marijuana. I don't know why they don't just let that be free. You know? Find one less thing for police to do when the day come and they just leave that let be. Because, I mean, the police busy having to arrest people for playing football. So why tie them up with a little herbs? As the Rastas say, the God meditation. That's what they put on the earth, the healing of the nations. That's what we have. So 420 people, salute, enjoy yourself with the 420. I personally, I'd never like smoking. You see, me and smoking was never no friends. And you see that feeling of, that's your stomach feeling hot, you're smelling smoky. And I remember a time when I in Jamaica, boy. I properly in my, I don't want to say a Jamaican, but almost as Jamaican as I ever was. I live in there and I fully in the lifestyle. And them days I out there, so I go in the club and let me see who I pick up, let me see what new girls come out, you know what I mean? Every week is new girls up in the asylum. So I go on, if it's not asylum, it's quad. I go on quad, it must be. And meet up a little girl, boy. The girl nice. You know what I mean? Nice little browning, as Jamaicans say. And we end up cool. We're not good, a good little friend now, but we end up good. And so she more or less buy me right through. She ain't leaving my apartment. From the time she come by me, she never really leave. You know the type, right? If you're a fella, you understand what I'm saying. So we good. I go into work every day. She watching Maury every day. And we going down good. Everything sweet. But the girl like her weed. And I don't really like the smoking home by me. I is the most killjoy. You remember about buzzkill? I invent the term buzzkill because I couldn't take it. She hiding and bringing weed. But when I come home from work, what used to get me is how the place smelling. It just smell like bush. That's the best way I could describe it. It's not like I grew up in a house with people who smoke cigarettes, so I know cigarette scent is go. But the weed have a wild kind of bush scent. I don't know if it's bush weed she was smoking. She must be smoking some mid or I don't know. But I couldn't take the scent of that one. I used to argue all the time. I was like, nah, don't be smoking in my place. This, that. If you know you had a smoke and thing, go home by your mother and thing, and you could come back by me when you... Boy, listen. But party, no? Like party and like club and thing, and we go in and we having a time and a drink and I come home. So I go on, we fet. We come home, you know what next? So when I look into gay now, she said, nah, I can't do this. I had a smoke. Let me get a smoke first and then, boy, I vex like hell because now you keeping back my little progress. I trying to action down the place. You know, it's a bad for 5 minutes. So I trying to get the best 5 minutes of your life. And you talking about you had to take a smoke first. Boy, I blue vex. But she going to smoke now. So I gone out of the balcony with she to smoke, boy. And she's smoking this weed. And I getting mad. I was like, girl, hurry up. Imagine when you don't know, you know what. Ignorance is a hell of a thing. So every time she take a pull, I saying, but you ain't high enough yet. Hurry up and get high enough so we can go inside. When you know, because in my mind it's like, all right, I think you're going to take a 1 pull or a 2 pull. I in spice mode. Every minute you take is a minute off of my 5. You know? So at one point, like, she get mad, but she couldn't take it no more. She's like, listen, just shut up. Just smoke this one time. Just shut up and taste how this, you just take 1 pull. I was like, no, I don't smoke. She's like, shut up. Just take the... Boy, she said, when you take the 1 pull, we're going inside. Well, a partner said, right. Boy, I take a pull and I take... You know. I don't know what high was. But I'm trying to be cool now because I'm trying to make it look like what you doing here is a waste of time. This is for losers. That ain't going to do nothing to me. And we waste a whole ton of time saying down here that we could be 5 minutes and out we self bad. But while I'm trying to maintain my cool, I find like I'm getting sleepy, but the place getting dark. That's the best way I can describe it. I started to feel a little bit sleepy, and then the light started dim on my kind of way on the outside. So I'm trying to play it cool now, but I find my speech getting slurry. this is one puller. Me a smoking. So now I studying, boy, and I feeling that tingling going through my whole body. So I said, nah, boy, I feeling like something wrong. So I trying to play it cool, and all this time I still saying, girl, this is a waste of time. Look, I ain't even feeling nothing. This is just vice. This is just in your mind, this and that. But my body going through some changes, like a teenager. so I tell myself, boy, don't hang around. Go inside. Don't let this happen to you out here because like you're melting, you're falling apart. And I get up, I frightened to stand up to it because I'm feeling like I'll fall. But boy, when I get up and I go on the inside, I was so frightened. I say, but like, I will now I know you're just high, right? But I was real frightened. And she outside on the balcony, and I didn't want her to know what's going on. But I in the kitchen trying to get, so I opened the cupboard to get a glass to get water. And then I just hear boom, 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 boom. Listen, like if somebody breaking down my back door. I done frightened already and paranoid. So I stand up in the kitchen listening to this boom, 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 boom. Loud. But you know when I catch myself good, is my heart I hear beating. I hear my heart beating from the outside. Boy, listen, I was never so frightened in my life and so paranoid. I'm frightened to go and sleep. I tell myself I'm going on dead. And boy, that was my first experience. And I guess from then, me really like smoking is not for me. And I don't want to hear my heart beat at no point. Die for the doctor. My heart supposed to beat silent. Don't let me hear that at all. I want no sort of noise in my place. But the edibles, a little easier on me. Where you could do that. And I thought, I never really know the power of that neither, because I'm a one little smoke experience. And I'm telling you, when I smoke that, as you inhale that, you're starting to get high one time. But the nice thing is, after a little while, that's starting to fade away too. If you ain't smoke no more, you ain't feeling that way no more. It's starting to fade away fast. But little did I know that edibles is a whole next story. That thing just take long to kick in, and then when it kick in, that taking his own time to work through your system. So, whatever you're going to do for the 420, enjoy it responsibly. Things legal if you're growing thing home and thing. Grow it home. I've a partner, I have somebody in my life who shall remain unnamed, who say one time they go and buy somebody and they get them some ganja tea to settle their nerves. You say, boy, he never feels so sleepy and fade away. Like he forget he drink the tea. So later on in the night, he talking to his wife and think he falling asleep, fading. But I have stories about edibles too. That edibles thing is no joke. But whatever you're doing, enjoy it responsibly. Enjoy it while Fitzgerald Hinds still here. One day I will get all of my edible stories, but that is not. Maybe I will get all of my edible stories next week after 420, because who knows what will happen tomorrow. It could well go down. You never to know. Given that, we go discuss that next week, and I will let you know how it went down. But enjoy it. And I know for me, I'm sure that while people forget husband day, and I ain't get no husband day gift or no hug or no kiss or no quattro playing for me for the husband day, I'm sure that people will not forget that it's 420. So let me see how that go down. I will give you a capsule report next week. Now, on the international side, I tell all you how to follow up, how to keep following up this story with George Floyd case, right? And I hope all you're watching it too, because just keep in mind that a big part of that BLM movement and the way it pick up globally and people take interest in it down here started with the death of George Floyd, right? So I'm realizing that without that big story behind it or something like that happening, some of it tapering off, at least from what I've seen on social media and what I've seen discussed on some of the more popular pages and things. It seems as though we're not paying as much attention to it again. I don't know if as the world open back up a little more, well, we're heading back into a lockdown, so anything happen during that lockdown, people going to be hypersensitive about it. But I hope all you're paying attention to this George Floyd case, because, again, Black America had to wake up and see certain things, Because the defense, I heard the defense on Monday making an argument basically that saying that because George Floyd was so big and strong and it takes so much officers to hold him down, that it was justifiable for them to use the force that they used. And the kneeling on his neck and all that was justifiable to contain him and to control him. That man going out there and saying that, that's what the man on the defense or his defense or his lawyer say on Monday. I mean, it's sounding real weak, to be honest with you. I have not seen anything look like a slam dunk case as much as this, but I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know all the technical parts of it. So I'm not seeing how Derek Chauvin will get off, especially because of the charges themselves. Like he charged with a few different things, So they're saying second degree unintentional murder, third degree murder, and second degree manslaughter. I don't know which one. I suppose the manslaughter charge is the least of all those charges, and I don't know why the thing is unintentional. I guess because you're a police officer, it will always go down with some doubt about. Because at the end of the day, you was doing your duty. Of course, you do it incorrectly and lead to the death of the man. But I guess in looking into this, the first time it happened, when I really first started the podcast, I started understanding how difficult it would be to charge a law enforcement officer with murder just like that, because you didn't leave home with no intention to do that. You're doing it as part of your job. But that brother gonna get he gonna get found guilty, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of sentence he get overall. And I'm following it again in the context, so it seemed like this can't go away in the States at all, because now even a police officer, army sergeant, they're talking about in South Carolina, Jonathan Pentland. You would have probably seen this video many times already, with a big, strong, white, bald-head fella pushing a little black. These people looking like, this man looking like a little child, the way he pushing him around. Basically tell him he in the wrong neighborhood and they go walk him home and think, well, gratefully he was also charged with assault. So let me see how that case goes to, because that's clearly on, I mean, what is in the States? What is they have? So how will they reach to the point where they're so afraid of every black youth you see? And now that so much of this going on video is the best thing ever happened, because when George Zimmerman had killed Trayvon Martin back in the day, remember that? It was so similar to, it seemed like it could be the same story all over again if people weren't there and cameras wasn't outside. Because this man is a sergeant, which means he accustomed to weapon. Knowing the state, a white man, he a gun home, and you come out to see about this boy, and the boy talking soft, he meek, he's small. What threat he is to all this, so that you can just leave him alone. So if using Trinidad as an example, if that happened, man, a little youth man walking around the area and people find he suspicious, let me just say, people will look out, and when they realize he walking, they say, nah man, leave he, let he walk. He ain't doing nobody nothing. But not there, them come out their house and all these women who in the background who cheering it on like we will walk you home, and it's like, dude, what's going on at all here? But again, salute to the people from Richmond County in South Carolina. He's charged, and hopefully them charges stick, just like your boy Derek Chauvin. And these people are to start to do time, to start to realize that some level of equality, like I said earlier, you know what I mean? I mean, come on. Black people is nothing to all you. So it's like if you listen to this episode, if you hear a white person listening to this episode, they don't care about this part where I talking about the little black fella or George Floyd. Them care more about when I say I lead the dog and he beat up, because the life of the animal or the dog, they get up in an uproar about that, you know. They get up in an uproar about that. And the protests for whales, I watch just this thing they call what is Seaspiracy on Netflix. So we can't eat fish no more. When you watch What the Hell, we can't eat meat. So no more meat, no more fish. Just eat grass right through. Them is the kind of things white people there's kind of frenzy about them things. And when it comes to the lives of the black youth, well, they're not so serious. What you're protesting for? Why the protests had to be violent? You know what I mean? So when Peter acting up and throwing and spray painting people thing and they say it's full, no problem. Vandalism because a black youth getting a problem, that is a problem. So the next day, well, I don't even know if it's the next day, it looked like the same day. Like every black person show up and the men say, here now, we come here to make racists uncomfortable, and they go in on the man lawn and they plant a sign in the lawn and all that. And people, the focus of the story now start to become, why are they on the man property and you're going and planting that illegal? Yeah, that illegal. Burning cross on man lawn illegal too, coincidentally. But how come it is like you could protest for animals by throwing paint on somebody's fur because you find they shouldn't be wearing chinchilla, so you throw paint on the person's thing. But going on somebody's lawn and crowding the person's space, that is what we're focusing on rather than the incident that happened. You know what I mean? It's like, I see there's a lady I follow on Instagram called Teslin Figueroa. I like how she's talking, because she's a warrior boy. She from that tribe. And I just saw a post from her basically saying like, if y'all had the same energy for the response to protesters and making sure that protests are peaceful and all those things. If you had that same energy for justice, we wouldn't be having half these issues. And you know what I mean? I like my boy Dale Hughley because he have a different take to it too. Yes, his take is that, listen, you see all them years we was peaceful and them kind of things, that how we here now. And a big part, I be thinking so too, yes, because if you think about it, if we had get dread and get bad, or I shouldn't say dread and get bad because I don't want to take away nothing from my ancestors, but the fact that the whole boat didn't sink on the way over here tells us today that peaceful protesting would do it. Because there are some of us who would choose to be more peaceful. I would have choose the more peaceful route, and some of us who choose to be warriors. If all of we be warriors, we're gonna have a different outcome. But I mean, my take on in Black America. All over there, all stay safe, please. Take care of your children, watch your little youth men. You know what I mean? We reach that age, We reach that age now where we're not just observing this happening in the States again. I'm talking particularly to black people who live in the States, black Chinese in particular, Caribbean people, West Indians. We reach that age now where our children going to be the ones like Trayvon Martin who walk in the streets and things. We are young teenage children and things who want to live their life and get some of that equality that America is promised to everybody. And boy, just keep an eye on them, boy, and keep these youths covered because the States is no easy place. But at least, as I say, people getting charged, and that's a good sign. Now, on the topic of people getting charged, people getting charged over there with third degree and second degree murder and manslaughter and things, but apparently the most you could charge somebody with here is misbehavior in public office. Now, it's a parallel I want to draw because we have a way, and on social media you see it a lot. You see a lot of people saying this. Don't let them go to court. Don't lock them up. If the police deal with them, it's one less. It's a common thing we like to say, So the police kill them, that's the end of that. And we see in this live and direct with this sort case, where going back to what it was, Andrea Barrett was, of course, the victim at the time. God bless her soul, of course, and condolences to her family. It's the whole nation who feel that. We feel that to our core. Home and abroad, everybody was talking about that. But the two main suspects end up dead. If only remember the red chair thing, the men said they fall off a chair and all right, cool. Apparently, investigation has been going on all this time and they say about in the teens. The number I remember is 19, but I could be wrong about that. But several members of SORT have been questioned and brought. Not all of them didn't reach ID Parade from what I read. The band who reached ID Parade is Mark Hernandez, but several of them were questioned about the fact, I was going to say murder, but let me watch more words. They brought for the fact that the two main suspects lost their lives allegedly while they were allegedly in police custody. Let me just keep saying allegedly and safeguard myself. I don't want problems. But yeah, so we see now that since Friday, Mark Hernandez was supposed to be... Mark Hernandez is the head of SORT, if you're following the story, right? SORT, SORTT. Go and Google it and check it out, right? You'll see the stories. He was supposed to make an ID parade. This would have been last week, Friday, but unfortunately, they couldn't find enough people looking like him to make up an ID parade. Listen. I don't know, boy. Anyhow, Fitzgerald Hinds go sort out them thing when they come. When you go find pipers looking just like Mark Hernandez, that will never happen again. But the weekend passed and they're saying that by today, they would have... So in my mind, right, in my simple little mind, where I don't know nothing about law and thing, I say, well, them going to get charged with some kind of murder, manslaughter, whatever. Well, they charge the man with misbehavior in public office. I know it's the maximum sentence for that. I show it in life. I show it in another set of jail time. Boy, listen. I was surprised because the way they was going after this and the way they talk about it between Friday and now, I say it's big charges coming down if charges were to be laid at all. But apparently the charge is misbehavior in public office. And I think I think he go survive that charge. Now I think he going down because the press conference that man give after them charges get laid, just the way he's talk alone is misbehavior in public office. Just listening to that man talk sounding like misbehavior to me. I don't know how these men is reach. Anyway, let me let you hear it for yourself and you will judge for yourself. Listen to how this man talk and tell me if they shouldn't charge him with misbehavior in public office. Again, just for giving this press conference?
I want to tell you that I have confidence in the legal justice system.
I thought it was criminal justice system.
I absolutely believe in the men and women of the Special Operations Response Team.
I too.
As I'm charged and as I leave the unit, I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago that they are in safe hands
Right.
with the officers of the SORT. As our country faces the pandemic of COVID,
What?
I want to wish our Prime Minister speedy recovery.
What?
I want the members of Trinidad and Tobago,
Yeah,
all
right?
decent citizens, to
The
support
members.
our Commissioner of Police as he leads in harm's way.
What is this man talking about?
I want to tell you,
Tell me.
it is never a good thing
Right.
when citizens die,
What? What?
and I can tell you that investigation and that operation was painful.
Right.
We felt pain for Andrea Barrett.
All of us.
Our
All of us.
mission
Right.
was to search and rescue her. We were searching for hostage rescue.
Right.
It's very unfortunate what happened to the two guys, and they did not die in police custody, but they died seeking medical attention, and they were brought to the hospital by the officers. And I can tell you
This man have a lawyer?
that the two persons who died, they died with a lot of secrets,
Jesus.
and we wanted them alive so they could have been brought before a competent authority to answer
Right.
for their crimes.
Right.
And the officers of Special Operations Response Team, they feel pain. They are saddened by the events. But the investigation have to go on,
Right.
and I'm confident that the truth will be revealed and justice will be preserved.
Sorry about the bad audio, but first things first. English is clearly not his first language, right? So we probably need to get somebody at the head of sort who know English as their first language. I mean, as a Hernandez, he might be from here. But other than this man have a lawyer, like he has somebody representing him. His lawyer know that he talking to the press like this. Like I looking at this, and I hope the fella next time is not a lawyer, because you could see the man trying not to react. He should have just tell him, don't say no more. Better you just don't say nothing. Don't answer no question, because you done in the English in your first language already, and it's sounding like you want to try the case in public. So misbehavior in public office, okay. Two people end up dead. What I thought was allegedly police custody, but my guy done organizing his defense already in public before they go to court to say that it was is the police carry him to the hospital. He never dead with them, you know what I mean? There was no chair or nothing like what was said in the first place. So, but I guess that amongst the misbehavior in public office. Just be careful the road you're going down at Trinidad and Tobago, because we, or me in particular, I always say we don't have the same kind of issues with our police like they have with police over there. But anytime we start to be accepting of certain things because we presume a man to be guilty already when they're there, it's a matter of time, you know. It's a matter of time, because anytime they start to do that, because the public done, once police cast aspersions on these two people who I don't know from nowhere, and they end up dead, and it seems as though they were the main suspects in a high profile case where all of us was already hurting. Some of us, to be frank, glad to see the back of two of them, regardless of what we know or what is evidence or what was presented or what is true or not true. And we accept that because of how they presented. But I just want us to be careful, because when police start to take justice into their own hands on the streets, not saying that is the case in this situation at all, but if anything like that start happening, it's a slippery slope, and that is not something we will be able to easily pull back. But other than that, I mean, just they try and hire English police officers, and we should do better with that too overall. But I know, like I can understand. All of a sudden, he say like this pandemic of COVID, and we wish the Prime Minister a speedy recovery. I said, where did I find this man? But anyway, I done with that. Let me not say nothing bad about no police. They done looking for me, football. And you see, like, after that football thing, when you see I started call police while in this neighborhood, don't let me see nobody doing nothing. No. People calling police for me here. I go and start to call police while. Anything I see, I only play music hard. I call him police on a regular. But as far as Mark Hernandez, we will keep our eye on that case and let's see how it goes. That's one to watch. Everybody should be interested in how that case go. Even though the charge is just misbehavior in public office, we want to know what is seen. And I also want to know like how far we are as a country from seeing what going on in the courtrooms, just like what it is a scene with Derek Chauvin. And I'm able to go on YouTube every day and see the whole trial if I want, or parts of it, or the highlights, or people reaction to it. How far we are from that? Because if most of these cases happen, people who might be into law who listening, help me. I need to understand. If these cases going on Zoom and stuff, what we have, we have a law saying that we can't see what happened in the courtroom. How come we can't just go on YouTube and see what it is went on today? This will be a nice case for us to follow day by day, because this, as funny as it might sound, could affect all of us. So we keep an eye on Mark Hernandez. Now, on social media this week, well, I had to talk about verses, right? Real quick. Because 420 is supposed to be Method Man versus Redman. So by the time you're listening to this, have that on the 420. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of smoke in the air. And I kind of like the vibe of this one, because I like Method Man and Redman. I don't know a whole lot of the songs, but them, man, is just a vibe. So I don't know a ton of the hits. I don't even know that they could get to 20 hits on their own. I'm probably wrong about that, but I can't name 20 of them men hit songs. But I know that they're going to be a vibe and they're real promoting it, because I don't know when Redman turned beast mode, that man looking like a giant, like a bodybuilder, and they're promoting it every day. So I'm hoping it live up to it, and I'll definitely take that in. But other than that on the internet, it's like this week we had our own versus is OnlyFans girls against the band's car. So if you didn't see the story, the same OnlyFans squad is posing with people's vehicle. And listen, I don't really find nothing so wrong with it. Who never see a nice car and want to pose? The man have a nice little Jeep something. You know what I mean? I even know what that name. They're saying $500,000-$600,000 for the car. And it look nice and thing. Like, who never take a picture by a car before? You know what I mean? If it's aspirations and dreams, it's OnlyFans money coming in, So we had to make some decisions about what kind of vehicles we're going to buy. But the man didn't take it lightly. And I find them girls went far. I mean, I know it's young girls and stuff. If you don't know the girls who are talking about by now, go on Instagram and search for Vanita Mohammed and Adriana Ramkisu. Don't say I never tell all. I try all how not to call people names. Let all do all your own research and find all your own OnlyFans page. But that's the two names. I ain't repeating them neither. But I find they went a little far. Young, good-looking girls and everything. But if you see a car you like, how you go climb up on the car if you know it's not your car, boy? That is a real disrespectful thing to do. And when I see the man post, the man make a long rant. I mean, he's a long rant kind of guy. If you don't know about him, these is people I frightened to say too much about him. I started getting nervous very fast. But he have a history. He have a history. I'll tell you a little bit about his history. And he's been in the news before several times. But as a man who's so deep into security, look at the car where you go and choose. I can understand why he react. I can't even say the man overreact, because them girls say the man overreact, but you're climbing up on the man motor car. How you climb up on the car? You take a picture and thing in front of that is one thing. I think you'd still be upset because of who he is. He has a company that is do vehicle recovery. So if somebody steal your car, they show up on the scene and they do recovery. But I remember when, I don't know if it was a promotional thing or what, but the first time them men do recovery and thing, the kind of weapons I see them men show up on the scene with, he himself had a huge rifle. Like I watching Alexander Instagram this week and he is doing rifle practice and thing. I don't think these is people who you want to cross. And the band seemed like the same type to me because he bought that action. So when them see GPS and a vehicle stolen, I think the name of the company was Air something. Because if he was not Air Guard man, I know for sure he's a pilot. And he was in the news before, back in the day, about receiving some kind of government contract. I can't remember the details of it, I think, and I'm careful when I talk about these people, because this is a different kind of people, The name of the company should be Trinidad and Tobago Air Support Tactical Services. So Google that and go and check out the news story. It was something to do with an airplane contract for the police, if I'm not mistaken. But he are wrong. And when they do vehicle recovery, he himself was there with a big long rifle doing the recovery and stuff. I all remember seeing the ad at the time and telling myself, boy, better I get a service with these people because I had vehicles stolen from me before. If that is the men who go in and recover it, after that. And so I could understand why the man reacted that way, because if you in security and fast forward to today, the man, he is one of the people who I understand have a license to sell weapons in the country. I'm not sure if they have a gun range and thing, but they definitely sell weapons. I think the name of his Instagram page is 868 Tactical. So of all the cars these OnlyFans you'll choose, you choose one of the most dangerous men it have, who security and privacy of his vehicle and his vehicle number and them types of things will always be an issue because of who he is and what he does. And you climb up on that car, like how bad luck you could be. But again, any publicity is good publicity, I suppose. So hopefully it get the OnlyFans ups. I want to see these girls win. I want to see the girls win and set a tone so that there could be more and more OnlyFans and all of us could enjoy our lives. You know what I mean? It's good for society. We hope we have nothing better to do. But next time, post up on a little Almerina, man, or B14 or something where a man ain't go make fuss. A man like me, I'd glad to see my car and all the picture and thing. You look at the car you choose. But again, they say he overreact. They said they apologize and they take it down. They get a lawyer letter and all that. So, I mean, you're young, you live and learn. And you know, this week wasn't really a good week for our local internet sensations at all. Because I see all of a sudden, no, I remember back when the DSS thing was a big thing, when it was going down, when police was raiding and people stopped getting pay. Because before people stopped getting pay from DSS, you couldn't say but nothing bad about DSS, you know. I remember being in groups that were created for black business owners and thing, and I questioned DSS and the pyramid scheme thing, and people vexed with me, telling me I understand, and I was always trying to fight the black man, and you know how much of that I get? Until I realized, boy, you don't have no money in that, just shut up about it. You know? But when the things start going down and the DSS faithful started turn, I remember a little voice note going around saying how they want to go for praise and he only pose up in tongue house with Superstar Riri and them hope, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Man, I was like, why they had to be hoes? But the man was real vexed and saying that they're looking for him and everybody were back their money and all them kind of thing. Like people wasn't telling earlier. This can add up a long time ago. But the girl posts a little picture with she and Priest, you know what I mean? Like anybody would post, anybody home, your little boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, well, man, or whatever Scotiabank say we have, whatever we have. You must make a little pose and rub a little head, and you know what I mean? There's a nice little Sunday morning vibe. Well, boy, people take off. Like, it look like any sites of Priest these days is lead to problems. Like he can't say or do nothing till everybody get $1 million from the 500 where they invest. He is public enemy number one. And I find it was real messed up, just like them girls and them had to go through that scene with Doug Bands. This girl now had to try and bring back out her old picture from DSS, from before DSS. And I think, but why people had to go through these things? This is modern day comments warriors is a hell of a thing, you know, because I know everybody's saying, like the man say, he get money, so you running down certain kind of girl. And then they try to make it sound like she spending the DSS money. You know what I mean? Hey boy, it's rough, you know, boy. You can't win in this life, you know. You can't catch a break. So Superstar Riri, you know, had to go and post a picture showing both of them looking young before it had DSS. And I mean, more to come, you know, because I now see a little video and thing with them. I don't know if they have an exemption or they borrow one of the band's planes, or I don't know how that works. But them in Miami, two of them. So they're going to get more blaze again, because until people get back the millions from investing hundreds, nobody ain't going to be happy. All right, let's get into some sports real quick. It had nothing to watch on TV. It had nothing on Netflix, nothing nowhere. It's the saddest thing. Like, I can't find right now, again, I'm in the midst of watching Breaking Bad for the 5th time. It have nothing. I just wonder, like, where you paying for these services for? This pandemic come and mash up all my series and the billions ain't coming back. That look like that's the end of that. Ozark delayed again. Money Heist is our next delay. This is the most sour thing. It's none to watch. But in sports news, people are very upset. Football fans are in a frenzy, I should say. Football fans not happy at all. Now, let me talk about European football fans for a minute and try to understand what is Trinidadian football fans telling me, right? They come up with this idea of a super league, where the best teams basically in all the leagues go and make their own league and play midweek football. I think it come in as a response to Champions League and the format and the fact that some of these big sides had to go in Russia and play all kind of small sides as they had opened up Champions League some years ago, which personally I find boring. I'd be surprised every time it's a Champions League football on TV. Somebody had to tell me about it after it happened because I don't follow it. I get disenchanted with it. I don't study that at all. I guess fantasy football have me well invested in the Premier League, but I must play fantasy Champions League once or twice. But to be honest, it's a little boring. If we being honest, Champions League is a long, boring competition that's only get exciting when the big sides play one another. So I shouldn't say the best teams, it's just the big teams. Because see a man do a breakdown online saying that if Arsenal win every game they have in front of them for all the Gunners, the man say if they win all the rest of their games, they still come in 11th in the top half of the Prem. So you can't call them best side, but they have nobody more faithful than Superstar Riri and Arsenal fans. Is the most faithful people that have. Arsenal fans is where the jersey all about. And back that side, no matter how much licks they get and how much... boy, listen, Arsenal fans loyal. You know what I mean? So there's one side, if they go in a Super League, there's money. And again, they have Real Madrid, they have Barcelona, Man U, Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool, all the big sides from all the leagues. They say they're waiting to hear from Dortmund and Bayern now, as well as PSG. So it's all the top sides in all the leagues across Europe going to form their own league, and they guaranteed no relegation for none of them teams. So it seems as though other teams could join, so we wait and say who are those teams. But the founders cannot be relegated. So they created their own little system to play midweek football. You can't vex with them because the Champions League was boring. European football fans understand their plight. Because Barca, look at La Liga, for instance. La Liga done had about 3 teams already. That's no more teams in La Liga. You can have 100 squad, but it's only a Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico. That's it. That's all anybody interested in. That's all pulling all the money. Nobody don't care about them rest aside, if we're being honest. And the fear of the average football fan in Europe is that if our biggest, most successful teams pull out, what happens to the rest of the league? What happens to the smaller teams? What happens to the area I grew up in and the side I back in for generations? I understand that. You know what I mean? Or if you look at England, what happened to sides like Watford and Leicester and you remember when they used to have a side named Blackpool? Some of these teams is real hardcore supporters from men who grew up and live in that area, and they're just supporting their squad all through championship and first division and things. They're supporting the teams right through. To the point where a side like Leicester could come and win a Champions Prem. So European fans real upset, and is a problem because now when they join that Super League, in my mind, 2 things happening that causing a problem. Number one, I don't know how seriously they will take, Champions League, UEFA coming out and say that them sides go be get banned from Champions League if they go and play in that Super League. But it's sounding like a done deal. I had to wonder how much attention men go pay to the domestic league when they have Super League to play. Imagine this week you had to play as a Chelsea fan, right? So imagine Chelsea playing Barcelona Wednesday here. And then the week after, they had to go and play Bayern Munich. And then the week after that, the men had to play PSG. And the week after is Juventus. And then Dortmund. How much attention them really going and play? Wait, when they had to play Villa on a weekend. Or West Brom. You know what I mean? Or Crystal Palace. Them not sending out nobody to go and play Newcastle. And they're going to play Saint-Maximin and these kind of men. Them not sending out nobody. Men going and reserve their stars for the big games. they almost just do that for Champions League already, but there are plenty more rotation and things. So according to which part of the side is in the Super League, that is what will determine how much effort they put in their domestic league. In my opinion, that is how it's going to go. The Super League done poised to make a ton of money because who don't want to see Real Madrid play Manchester United or Liverpool against that's the games people just want to see. That's the games that draw the most TV views and things anyway. Imagine we who like to play fantasy football. Imagine how hard the fantasy league will be in Super League. Everybody bad is only big side. You try and pick a 11 from that, right? It's a 100 million budget. So that league going to make much more money. I see somebody sending around a thing on Bloomberg showing Juventus stock price increase since they announced that, you know what I mean? And there's so much to work out for that still. But the money clearly behind it, they show you how much of money invested in it and everything. So the teams in the leagues now going to pay more attention midweek. So I could understand where the average fan have a problem because now the FAs in the country is studying now to ban the teams who going up for that. But the Prem could say what they want about being the best league in the world. If they take that top 5 brand names, right? Forget football teams. If they take the biggest brand names out of that and them put 20 aside in the where every week you have to see Stoke play West Brom and your biggest coach in the league is Harry Redknapp. Oh man, it's over. And that's the Prem, which probably is have the most eyeballs. It's done. Nobody in studying that no more. So that's the thing. And I understand the European football fan because now your own domestic league going down, that will hurt all your prospects as a nation. Because now the quality of your players, your leagues coming up, your what they call them from academies coming up. If you're not getting the top level leagues, it will affect your national performance and thing over time. So I understand where people is. Now, the other thing I understand in European fans about is the amount of money that going into Super League means that with that kind of injection of money, every week is high eyeballs and thing, more TV rights, more money all around to play with. Only big players going to end up in that league, and then they're going to be heavily skewed towards. So say a Man U, they're going to put a ton of budgets into buying the best team because them can't go in that league with no Rashford and Greenwell and men who working in them men working around Parliament building and cleaning Big Ben when the day come. Them men are no good. They're ones of the men who, not saying that nobody who homegrown ain't good, but these homegrown ones are no good when it comes to going and play men every week. They're gonna buy the biggest set of players like what Abramovich and them is do and what Man City is do, buy all the stars. So all these stars gonna end up on that 10 team. So imagine what the domestic league will look like. And it will further increase the gap in leagues that don't have a huge gap already, like in France and in Spain. It making the domestic league a joke, even if the team stay in, because them and are such top quality players, the money gap is so big. It's done big already, but it's going to be way bigger. And it really just, it will destroy the fabric of the domestic league. So I understand the Europeans and things. But you see Trinidadian fans who talking about Super League and have so much of problems with it. I don't understand all what all you arguing about. Every Trinidadian, it have no Trinidadian here who not backing one of them sides in that Super League. So they're supposed to be glad. Trinidad is the most of the wagonness that have in any sport in the world. Everybody in this country is either support Man U, Chelsea, Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern. Who here is a Wolves fan? Boy, man, wicked in this country, you know, boy. All you're supporting the same set of side every single time. If you go Italy, it's a 3-side the man is support. In England, must have 5. In Spain, had 2 plus some wicked ones who support Atletico. Nobody does support no small side in this country. We don't support small side home. Even when we own national team looking small, we don't back them. So we supposed to be celebrating our Super League since when we get so conscious of thing and competitiveness and this and that. We don't care about that. Sometimes you see a sports bar, you pass on the avenue, men lying, football playing. Wolves, taking on West Ham. Everybody back turn, man, drinking their beer. You only hear when goals score, man, turn around to see who score. Lingard score. And they say Lingard is a Man U man. It's so wicked. It's wicked. People in this country, the wickedest people that have. All of a sudden, everybody vexed about Super League. When it's a El Clasico, Barca against Real Madrid, them two sides not good for a while now. The whole avenue full, men coming out in Barcelona jersey. and scarf holding up in the air for Barca and Real. But if you know this, get me mad when you see them do that, boy. Man enslave you for your whole life and indenture you. And you come in to back them fellas, and them guys get me mad, you know. you diehard Barca fan. Boy, listen, if them only find a boat to put you on, they put you on a boat and carry you somewhere else to cut cake. Yes, but anyway, I want to know what is the local outrage about the Super League about. We should be the happiest people that did have a Super League, because it also means that when the Prem no longer good and La Liga no longer good and all these leagues going down, League One out of the question, we go get players up there. Look at we side. I watching. We have a futsal side, Willis Plaza, Ball Pest. All we best players playing futsal now. They're playing beach football. The beach is closed and then playing beach football. Them men have a chance to go in the Prem now if they get the big sides out of the Prem and put some of these other little small sides. If Man U and the top 5 or the top 6 leave the Prem, you know who come in the Prem? Lewisham, Shepherd's Bush, all them little small side go gain. And when them small side gain now, you feel they go come down here and look for a little Ball Pest? Or what fat man name again? Cornwall. We going to end up having players in the top leagues in the world if these big sides go. I try and figure out why our local people so upset. Somebody need to explain this to me, you know. So I'm going to keep watching this over the next few days. And this is a sports podcast, you know. I know people, they don't like me to talk about sports too much, you know, but I was trying to figure it out. It's like, what is upsetting y'all? Always only watch when the two big side playing. That is when everybody's come out. So somebody got to help me with that, you know. Somebody got to help explain that to me. All right, before I get out of here, time to get out of here, and this is long. Remember to keep St. Vincent on your list of things to do and places to give aid to and say our prayers for and thing. I seen that they still have explosions going on. And listen, the spirit of Caribbean people is the greatest thing I ever see, you know. The spirit of the Caribbean person is an amazing thing to me, because while you reach out, I don't know what it's like to be in a volcano, and even here in Barbados covered in ash and, you know, just coming out of another lockdown, they're going back into one because of the amount of ash and thing. Man making video about volcano in the fet and and then they have a video going on online. And the guy getting an interview about where he was during the volcano, and that man say he sleep up right up in some villages close to La Soufre. He say, man, I push some cloth under my door and thing and cover myself and I inside. And he say every time he try to head back up the road to the farm and check the animals, he ain't boom. I say, boy. And he laugh and listen, them man, it's nice to see people in good spirits still. Is a you know, when you say disaster, you expect everybody to look downtrodden and forlorn, but boy, it's nice to see people in that kind of spirit, and let me just keep them in our prayers, and not just prayers and works, you know what I mean? Let me keep them in our prayers and continue to do any works for them, so that they could turn around in as fast as possible at time, you know what I mean? And St. Vincent is one of the places where we go like for the 420 to ask Johnny Sung, you know what I mean? So we hoping that they have a great recovery, and as much as we could do to help them out of that recovery, let me do that now. Other than that, that is it for me. So I will see you guys next week. Enjoy. Stay safe. Let me get the numbers down, right? Bye.